This will be the 8th video essay I've done, and as I was thinking about making it and looking at the issues in Ireland, I found, and not to my surprise, the main issue is still housing and homelessness. It was not to my surprise because I made a video about this back in February, which you can see here, where I showed how our current government's ideology is a hindrance to building social housing, which I believe is central to solving the housing crisis. So as I contemplated another video, I thought about showing stats to highlight the issue. But I believe we are all too used to seeing these in the news getting worse and worse by the day. I thought about interesting angles I could highlight, like how 1/3 of our cabinet ministers are landlords, and how that might result in a serious conflict of interest when trying for solutions to the crisis. I could concentrate on how vulture funds are buying up property to the detriment of tenants, because Ireland has now been the #1 seller of de-stress loans in Europe for 4 years in a row, and highlight that the situation is bad for the economy and for jobs. But then I thought this video doesn't need stats or interesting angles, because we all know what is true. What is happening in Ireland with regards housing is politically and socially senseless, and I believe it is affecting further worse the collective consciousness of the country I call home. Our Taoiseach Leo Varadkar in his weekly message, while admitting the government were finding it hard to get on top of the problem, then applauded himself and his colleagues for building 3,000 social houses and capping the rents in some cities. Now I'm sure our Taoiseach is an intelligent man and knows, like most of his fellow citizens, that some landlords are figuring out ways to get around the rent cap, and that 3,000 social houses are a drop in the ocean. So making these kind of claims in a subtle, boastful way he does shows one or two things: that he is not aware of the extent of the crisis, or that he does know and really doesn't care. And as I am sure he would claim he does care, then the former is the conclusion we must come to. But to be fair to him, all is not lost, because there has been success in the government's handling of the housing crisis. As Peter McPherry has pointed out, been successful in shrinking the role of local authorities in providing social housing and offloading the task to the private sector, and successful in creating a whole new landlord class, including within it an increasing number of absentee corporate landlords. Speaking after the Housing Summit on Friday the 8th of September, Owen Murphy pledged to build an extra 800 social houses next year, bringing that total to 3,800, and 20,000 houses to be built by 2021. Now, sorry for being cynical, but I remember the Rebuilding Ireland Action Plan for Housing and Homelessness in 2016, where the government pledged 130,000 new social housing units by 2020. There is one stat, however, that I would like to highlight. Around 3,000 children are without a place they can call home in 2017 Ireland. There are plenty of examples in Irish history when it comes to the security and well-being of children, where we can look back now and ask, what was society doing? How did they let such things happen? Let us not reach a point where we say to ourselves that homelessness is a problem we can't solve. But for now, what can we do? Make sure housing is the #1 issue for you when politicians campaign for your vote in the next election, because I'm sure it will be still an issue. And more immediately, you can donate to the Father Peter McPherry Trust, who is at the front line of fighting homelessness every day. I will leave a link in the description. Thank you for watching, and if you like these videos, please subscribe.